Hello, we're briefly going to go through Unit 5 video discussion. What is a risk register and why is it used? A risk register is a tool that a project manager can use to help identify risks that might come up during a project. It's an updated document that will become part of the project documents. This risk register is where most of the risk information is kept. Think of it as one document for the whole risk management process that will be constantly updated with the information as we identify risks and later management processes are completed. What is project risk control and why is it important? Well, there are several key parts of a project that are affected by risk. Project's quality, as in the deliverable, the schedule, and the budget are all influenced by risk. We want to identify the different components in the beginning of the project and review documents and the scope and the deliverables. Review the costs and budget for any risks. So you would go through and identify risk, you would document risk, evaluate the risk, plan for risk response, and control risk. When would you create a risk assessment chart? From the very beginning of the project, a project manager could be assessing the risks involved. These risks can be laid out on a chart to see how likely they are. This is an effective tool that can help in risk evaluation by focusing on the probability of potential risks. What is contained in a risk mitigation matrix? Well, the risk mitigation matrix helps project managers analyze the likelihood of an event. This risk mitigation matrix is a chart that contains x-axis and a y-axis. After the risks have been identified using the matrix, this will help determine the likelihood of the risk affecting the project. One axis is the likelihood, the other axis is a level of impact to the project. The probability is visualized in terms of its likelihood, but can be shown in terms of percentage as well, whereas the severity is shown in terms of its possible impact. What is the probability and impact matrix? Well, a project manager must prioritize the risks and figure out which ones need more attention. We know that we want to mitigate all risk, but we know that the project budget, the schedule, will not allow for us to do all that. So probability and impact matrix can be used by a project manager to establish which risks might need a response plan. If the risk is high impact and likely to happen, then a plan should be considered. If a risk is low and not likely to happen, it's probably not going to have a response plan. When thinking about your specific project, how will your team determine the various project risks and come to a consensus regarding the risk? Well, the project team would spend time evaluating all the project documents and scope. We could find and list out all the risks in a register and create a probable solution. The team can then list the risks and put them into a probability and impact matrix to determine which ones will need a response plan. Many risks, especially the probability and impact, can be subjective. How do a project manager reduce the subjectivity of the probability and impact on a project? A project manager can review lessons learned from similar projects in the past. That data can hold information that can help a project manager decide what similar risks are likely. A project manager can also hold a risk assessment meeting and have conversations with the team and decide which risks can really become problems.